Welcome to the Astrology Podcast with Brandy. I am doing horoscopes for you today for the month of May 2024. This is a really big month. April and May this year are very intense, right? April was very much about transformation, planting seeds, and now May, everything as we start May is going direct until Pluto goes retrograde. But everything is moving direct right now at the end of April into May, and this is a time of new beginnings for a lot of people, a lot of good energy in the month of May. So I'm going to go over each rising sign, or each sign, I should say, because if you only know your sun sign or your moon sign too, that's cool. You can totally use this video and it will give you a lot of information about your horoscope for the month of May. If you know your rising sign, you'll get a lot of information as well. Okay, so if you do know your rising sign, if you know your time of birth, then that is usually the most accurate that you're going to get. But then if you know just your sun sign and moon sign, that can also tell you a lot also about your horoscope if you listen. Okay, because it applies to all three. All right, so let's talk about the month of May. So as we're going into May, we have had this Jupiter Uranus conjunction going on, right? And this is what everybody's been talking about in the astrology community because it happens every 14 years and it only happens in that sign every, it's like 83 or 84, I think it's 83 years, right? Because you have these 14-year cycles of them conjuncting. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. But Jupiter and Uranus, they have come together in what we call a conjunction this month. And that will last. I mean, that energy, that beginning, wherever it is in your chart, which I'll talk about, will be affecting you for the next 14 years. Okay, so it's like an area that's undergoing transformation for you. We also have had this year Pluto move into Aquarius, and now it's going to be retrograding. That's going to be, another thing. And then we have a nice moon in Taurus coming up May 8th. And then we have moon in Sagittarius, full moon in Sagittarius. So this is a very big month, especially since we have the sun coming into this conjunction, this Jupiter-Uranus thing, and then Venus as well. Everything's in Taurus. So wherever Taurus is in your chart is really important. So I don't want to ramble on about all of this. I want to give you your horoscopes. So I'm going to take a look at the charts for each sign, and I'm going to talk to you about your astrology for the month, your horoscope. Now, I do this in my membership every month. We have a lot of fun with it, but I wanted to start doing it for all of you out here also on YouTube. So looking at the astrology for May, for Aries. If you're an Aries, it doesn't matter rising, sun, and moon. This will all be affected. Okay, so this will be for each sign. Aries, you have so much going on. In terms of your first house, your ascendant, your rising sign, it's just like Mars in Aries, North Node in Aries right now, Mercury in Aries, Chiron in Aries, all of this as we start the month of May. And so this is affecting your whole life and your relationships. So there's a big you have South Node, the eclipse happening in your 7th and 1st house, as you probably already know if you're watching this. If you don't, that's okay. But 1st and 7th house are all about relationships, right? So you're going through a lot of letting go of old baggage from relationships. And so that could be breaking up, but it could also be just that you're having some things come up about the past a lot, about your relationship past, and about maybe issues and karma and even trauma and things that have affected your relationships. That's coming up very strongly for you. As we enter the month of May, it's still there, right? You've already been going through this, And we have Black Moon Lilith, we have the South Node, all there in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. And this can be business partnerships. This can be anybody that you're really close to that's like a partner that mirrors back to you who you are, right? And so you also have this Mars energy in your 1st house, which Mars is, the planet of Aries. And so this is like drive, right? This is ambition. You're probably feeling super drained from all of this stuff going on, but at the same time, as we're going into May, you're starting to feel like alive again. You're starting to feel like, okay, it's time to move forward. It's time to make some money, especially since you have so much going on in your 2nd house of money and possessions. So you have Venus, Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter all in your 2nd house of money. Money, honey. So this is a good time for inspiration in the area of money and resources. So if you're looking to make more money, this is a good month for you, May. It's a really good month for you to plant the seeds for the next 14 years as Jupiter and Uranus, right? Every 14 years, they hit a sign together, and they're hitting your 2nd house of money. So this can be realizations in your area of money. This can be inspiration. This can be opportunities. It can also be letting go of things that you need to. It could be resolving debt. It could be a new job promotion, right? There's so many different things that it could be. It just depends on your chart, your personal chart, and your personal life. But you have this this energy of money is in resources and possessions, and like your survival, of life is such a focus for you for May, right? This is going to be like the month of like, take control, take the reins. And then you have Saturn going through your 12th house. So this is a good time for you to be in therapy, right? This is a good time, right? And the reason I'm saying this, you have Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house. 12th house has to do with mental health, the subconscious, the unconscious, dreams, spirituality, isolation. Also, I mean, you could say institutions and things, and they used to say institutions because those are places of isolation and healing. So it could be that maybe a retreat would be really good for you right now, right? With Saturn and Neptune there, this is like very karmic. This is very much about you gaining control in this house. So gaining control would be like, for instance, if you are a spiritual person, maybe really getting down on that. So for instance, learning some ritualistic meditation practices or rituals, magical rituals. Saturn rules these types of things, and it's in your house of spirit. This is a good time for you to discipline yourself in your spiritual work, in your meditation practices, anything spiritual, okay? That'd be an excellent time for you right now to be really focusing on that. You have the moon coming up, the new moon on May 8th. Let me just look at the calendar. May 8th in Taurus, new moon. And that will be, of course, in Taurus, so it's in your 2nd house. So this is a time for you to start something new, a new beginning, plant a new seed, start a new project, maybe, resolve some debt, resolve some issues, do something in the house of money for yourself this month. Really important for you to focus there. It's activating this Jupiter-Uranus energy. And you also have Mercury in Taurus on the 15th. Let's take a look at this astrology calendar here. You have, oh man, yeah, that Pluto retrograde. The Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is in your 11th house of friends. So it's friends, tribes, audience, and long-term dreams. Okay. So Pluto, and I already talked about this in the 2024 horoscopes, right? This is just, we're talking about May. But you have a lot going on there the whole year, as it's now at, 2 degrees as we enter May. It's at 2 degrees of Aquarius. So that's a big focus for you this year. Okay, so even May, as it retrogrades, Pluto is retrograding. It's also going to activate your house of reputation and the career, right? So that's also going to be retrograding for you to kind of rethink some things in that area. But the other big thing, we have a moon coming up, a full moon in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules your 9th house. So the full moon in Sagittarius can be travel, higher education, intuition, inner truth. So that full moon will be very intense for you in those areas. It could be that maybe it's time for you to start really tapping into your intuition. The 9th house is all about intuition, developing intuition, connecting with your high self, getting the wisdom. Wisdom comes with experience, and it comes with connecting with the high self, intuition, the senses, feeling, So anyways, yeah, you have a lot. I mean, you have a whole lot going on because of your first house activation. That means your whole chart is activated this year. And this month, it's really intense. You already know that though, because you've had this going on. And as we go into the end of May, around the 23rd, from about the 17th to about, the end of May, you're going to have a lot of inspiration in this house of money and resources. I mean, this could be a great time for you to start really focusing on a plan to make even more money, or to get some kind of big promotion or something. But then it's going to be entering your 3rd house. Jupiter is going to be going into your 3rd house, and it will be right along with Venus, right? So Venus is also in your house of money this month, but Venus will be going into conjuncting Jupiter during the full moon in Gemini in your 3rd house. And so this will be at the end of the month, a lot of focus on, it could be your siblings, it could be your neighborhood, it can be your car, your vehicle, it can be extended family. So there's going to be an activation there. Also, it could be communication and research and studies and things like that. So if you're wanting to learn something new, develop a new skill, the 3rd house is always a good house to start focusing on communicating, writing, skill development, and all of that good stuff. So Jupiter, the planet of luck, and Venus, also a really good, nice planet. They're both going to be going into your 3rd house. And so again, this can be something good with your siblings. It can be something good with your neighborhood, your vehicles, maybe get a new car, maybe an opportunity comes up for like a new neighborhood. It's possible in the 3rd house because that's neighborhoods and like the areas that you live. But yeah, May is it's a big month. It's an important month, guys. That's why I'm doing this video. I really wanted to make sure that I did a horoscope for all of you, because April and May are so important this month. So I hope you have a wonderful month. I hope that was helpful. And I will now move on to our next sign, which is Taurus. Okay, Taurus, looking at your chart. You have, oh my goodness. Yeah, just like Aries, very much your 1st house. So the month of May, you have Sun and Venus and Jupiter and Uranus all here in your 1st house. So Jupiter and Venus are both what we call the benefic planets, right? They are like, they benefit us. They bring good things, and they're both in your 1st house, which means that it can bring good things in terms of beauty and appearance and putting yourself out there. starting new adventures, starting new things. If you are a business person or you want to be an entrepreneur, this is a good time. Relationships, also, it can bring you luck here. So Taurus, you have a lot of opportunity for realizations and luck and opportunity and change in a good way for you in the month of May. And you also have, as you already know, hopefully, you have the eclipses happening in your 6th and 12th house, right? And that's about your day-to-day living, health. This has been, this was going on in April, and it's still affecting you, of course. But it's about, getting your health together and developing a good spiritual practice, good routine there. And you also have Mars in your 12th house. So you probably feel a lot of drive and movement forward in terms of, doing meditation work, maybe doing spiritual work, doing practices like rituals and things like that as well. And you also, let's take a look at the moons. You have May 8th, you have a new moon in Taurus. New moon in Taurus happening in your first house. So this is like a new beginning for you. This is a huge, huge event when you have a new moon happening right in your first house, right? This is always like a really nice way to start manifesting what you want in your life. So this new moon will be happening in your first house, and so it can really affect your relationships, it can really affect just your whole life path. So use it wisely. Make sure you're meditating. I mean, you have so much going on in your 12th house of spirit and your first house, which is like your whole life path. And Venus, the ruler of your chart, is in your first house. So yeah, this is a really good time for you to focus on your spiritual work and to focus on connecting with your high self for sure, looking at this. And at the end of the month, we have Jupiter going into your second house of finances, your second house of money and resources and your survival. So this is Jupiter is like luck and opportunity and expansion, and so it can help you to be careful because you don't want to overspend when you get Jupiter in your second house. You have to be careful not to overspend, of course, but it can definitely bring some opportunities for more money or some inspiration there, so that maybe you start focusing on making more money. All of a sudden you get some good inspiration and ideas, or you get some luck and opportunity in that area, maybe to pay off some debt or something like that, because it is on the security axis of 2 and 8. So this would be a really good time for you to focus on debt and finances and promotions, or just making more money, making a plan for it over this next year, because Jupiter will be in your house of finances over the next year, come the end of May. And then we have a Sagittarius full moon coming up. Let me look at the date really quick. Full moon in Sagittarius with Venus also an aspect there on the 23rd. So yeah, from the 17th of May on till the end, pretty much, there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot going on, right? And the Sagittarius full moon will be happening for you in your 8th house. In your 8th house, again, that security axis. The full moon can really bring to the head, it can bring like anything to do with your relationships and intimacy and shared resources could come up as a big thing, because the full moon will be in your 8th house, which has to do with other people's resources, other people in your power, other people in intimacy and sexuality, all of those things. So we'll have a full moon there. Will be a very, very intense, transformative kind of energy for you in your 8th house come the end of May, the 23rd of May. So yeah, you have some opportunities here though to really make some good, big transformative changes this month. This is a great month. It's a good energy. Take the reins on it. Do some good ritual and meditation practices. Definitely focus on your finances and shared resources in the month of May. But yeah, you have some really good opportunities, good energies, good inspiration. Okay. For your whole life. I mean, I feel like I can't really express it enough because Taurus, everything's in Taurus right now. It's an Aries and Taurus, and you just have so many good things happening in your first house. So anyways, okay, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to move on to the next sign now. We'll move on to Gemini. So let me pull it up. Okay. All right, Gemini. Woohoo! Okay, so your Gemini rising, moon, sun, anything really. You have so much going on in your spiritual house, the 12th house, also in your house of friends. Um, May is going to be a very spiritual time for you. Okay, it's a spiritual transformation, spiritual inspiration. If you're not having deja vu yet, and you're not having prophetic dreams yet, it's going to get even more intense in May. Okay, Gemini. All right, expect it, because this month, huge month, exciting month. We have, as you know, probably, right, Uranus, Jupiter just conjuncted, right, in April. Every 14 years, you've probably heard of it, maybe not. But Jupiter and Uranus are all about like realizations, expansions, and shocks, and surprises, and changes, and all of this. And over the next 14 years, it'll be affecting you in whatever house it conjuncted. Your house of spirit, your house of mental health, your house of unconscious, like, connection to source. Okay. So Jupiter and Uranus, Sun and Venus are all in your 12th house right now at the beginning of May as we get into it, right? That's the month of May is going to be all about spirituality for you. All about I mean, if you're trying to develop your psychic senses, this is the time to do it. If you are a Gemini, if you have Gemini placements, man, woo, this can be a great month for you. You have the two benefic planets, and when I say benefic, I mean they are a benefit. Right? You have the two great planets, Venus and Jupiter, in your, I mean, they are luck, right? They're opportunity. They are inspiration in your house of spirit. So this is an excellent time for you to really double down on your spiritual work, your meditation practices and rituals and all of that good stuff. So do it, Gemini. I mean, you love to learn. This is a time to really, really just get into it, try it out, whatever it might be. Try it out. Now, you have, as you probably already know, you have the eclipses happening if you watch my videos, you know this. You have the eclipses happening in your 11th and 5th house. So this is a time of transformation for you. As you know, the eclipses just happened, right? And they affect us over these next 6 months, okay? We have another eclipse coming in September. But these are happening for you in your 5th and 11th house. And the 5th house is where you're letting go, right? The south node is there in your 5th house of letting go. And so your north node is in the 11th house of friends. So it's coming into and healing your tribe. So if you have had friends that have not been the best friends, or maybe they're just not at the vibration you need to have around you, or maybe it's your audience, right? It could be that you are like me. You're somebody that's entertaining people or putting yourself out there in some way, teaching or whatever. This could also be like your audience or your people that follow you or really resonate with you. This is a transformative time for you to really focus on who's best for your environment, who's best for your life. Who do you need around you, right? And you already know that if you've watched my 2024 horoscopes. But you have a lot going on in your 11th house. You have Mars there right now, North Node there. You have Mercury there. You have Chiron there. So it's like a lot of healing, a lot of letting go of old stuff and coming into really good new stuff, new opportunities and things happening in that area of friends and just people that resonate with you in this lifetime. Okay. So there's a lot of karma there for you. Let's take a look at what's happening with these moons. So we have the new moon on May 8th in Taurus, and that will be in your house of spirituality. So that new moon will be an excellent time for you to begin some new meditation practices and go deep with it. Really start, working on your spiritual work. Really start maybe going on a retreat with that 12th house, right? Anybody that has a lot of 12th house stuff or anything important going on in the 12th house, I'm like, if you can like just meditate, do ritual, or go on a retreat, something like that, maybe do a workshop that, really gets into emotional release or intuitive development. That's excellent for you right now. Let's see. You have some opportunity overall and career for sure this year. And let's take a look at, so Jupiter will be going into your first house at the end of May. Okay. So Jupiter's moving nicely into Gemini at the end of May. And as the planet of luck and opportunity move into your first house, first thing I want to tell you, I want to warn you, try not to put on too much weight. When Jupiter goes into your first house, it expands things, right? And this is your body, your appearance. This has to do. So whenever I've had Jupiter in my first house, I always gain weight. First house, sixth house, I always gain weight. A lot of people do, and they don't even realize it. It's when you have Jupiter there. All of a sudden, it's just like you kind of expand physically. So definitely watch your health, watch your weight. First 1st of June, end of May, you'll notice Jupiter is now entering into that area. So you might want to start really paying attention to what you're eating and how you're taking care of yourself and working out and stuff. Physical appearance, you can really start working on it though with Jupiter going into your first house, because this is the house of appearance. You have a lot of opportunity in your whole life when you have Jupiter go in your first house. So all of a sudden it's like you'll have some like realizations and opportunities come that take you further on your life path, right? So Gemini is related to Mercury, the planet Mercury, right? So Mercury is the ruler of your chart. And so with Mercury being the ruler of your chart, it's in the 11th house right now. It's going to be going through the 11th house for you in May. And the 11th house, like I was saying, is about friends and opportunities and stuff. And so I'm just seeing a lot of transformation in the area of either friends or your audience or your long-term goals, like big changes there, and also related to your life path. Okay, so just like really big changes for you, because you have stuff going on all over here in your 10th, 11th, 12th, and then going into your first house, which is like everything. So yeah. Anyways, trying to think. Oh, Sagittarius. I don't think I talked about Sagittarius moon yet. Sagittarius full moon happens on April 23rd, along with Venus. Will be aspecting in Gemini with Jupiter in your first house. So the Sagittarius moon will happen in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So the full moon on April 23rd will bring an intense energy to your area of relationships. So if you're in a relationship, it can definitely bring things to a head if they need to come to a head. It might, bring opportunities for relationships if you're not in one. It's a good time to start a relationship as we are entering this energy of Sagittarius moon in your 7th house. So yeah, it can definitely be a good time to date as well, because if you are single and you're wanting to date, do it now. Do it all the time, and you'll probably meet somebody that is, good for your vibration this month if you really, really, stick yourself out there and you have this Gemini energy. It could be a good time to really connect with someone. So Yeah. But it can also bring fights too, because the full moon is a very, very intense energy. And it can definitely bring up if things are kind of boiling underneath the surface, it'll bring things to a head and the energies gets real high during that time, during full moons. Um, I try to meditate a lot during full moons. So anyways, hopefully you have some good things happen, but definitely meditate. Okay, Gemini, definitely meditate. Your 12th house is, woo, okay. Anyways, let's move on to our next sign. Okay. Cancer. All right, Cancer. Career, career, career. And family, of course, because family. Cancer. Um so you have so much going on in your 10th and 11th house of career and reputation, and the house of friends and audience and long-term dreams. So in the month of May, you have a lot of opportunity here, Cancer. So in the month of May, we have Jupiter and Uranus, that wonderful conjunction that happens every 14 years, right? In a different sign. It's now happening in your 11th house, which the next 14 years is going to be a big focus on this for you. Big focus on friendship opportunities, audience. If you are somebody that puts yourself out there for an audience or have students or anything like that. And also long-term dreams. Okay, so you're gonna have a lot of realizations, a lot of like dreams like at night. When it comes to this stuff, all of a sudden it's gonna be like, oh, this is what I need to do. Oh, maybe this is oh wow. Okay, getting a lot of inspiration here. And also, it can be clearing out the old friends, clearing out maybe the energies of people from your past, or it could be bringing back people from your past that maybe you were friends with before and maybe y'all have lost touch for a while, but in this lifetime you're in a soul group together and now they're coming back to you. There's just so much going on in your 11th house, and in the 11th house is like your tribe. It's the energy of your community. So there's a lot of luck and inspiration there. And again, if you're somebody that puts yourself out there like I do, like on videos and things like that, or you write or something, this is a time right now where you are, it's time for you to start moving forward. It's time for you to put yourself out there. It's time for you to have realizations and make plans for the next 14 years for your long-term dreams. Also, so you have the good, benefic, lucky planets in your 11th house. You have you have all this good stuff happening in your 11th house of long-term dreams and friendships and community. Okay, so it's a great time for you to really focus on that. Also, career, your 10th house. Whoa, guys. Whoa, Cancer. You have so much going on. You have the North Node. As you know, the eclipses have been hitting your 10th house of career and reputation. So big transformations and changes coming for you over this next year in that area. You're probably getting a lot of ideas on, what, is this the company I want to work for? Or is this the business I want? Do I need to rebrand myself? Do I need to change jobs? Oh, maybe I just need to like apply for a better job at this place, right? All of these things are going to be coming up for our Cancers. You have Mars there in the month of May. You have Mercury and Chiron, the healer. You have so much going on in your 10,000 career and reputation. I mean, this is the month for you to really start setting forward on these ideas and setting forward. And it doesn't mean go quit your job, nothing like that. But it just means that there are, it's like you're in this karmic phase right now in that area. And you also have the moon happening, the new moon happening May 8th in your 11th house of tribe, of community, of soulmates, right? And when I say soulmates, I mean your soul group of people, right? The people that you vibrate with, that you're like, yeah, I know you. We connect, right? You have the new moon there good time, May 8th, for you to focus on the right audience or the right friends, to do some manifestation spells to start moving forward in that area. So then we have a Sagittarius full moon coming up on April 23rd at the end of the month, as Venus is also moving into Gemini with Jupiter. But yeah, let's talk about Gemini energy for a minute, right? So you have Jupiter and Venus going into your 12th house of spirituality at the end of the month. And this is important because Jupiter will stay in a sign for 1 year. So it will stay in your house of spirituality for the next year. Okay, so at the end of the month, that's when all of a sudden Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, is going in your spiritual house. So this is going to be a time when all of a sudden, I mean, you might already be feeling this, right? Because it's already ready to move in there, right? And so you're probably having deja vu. You're probably having prophetic dreams, intuitions like crazy, right? And if you're not, use it. Use that Jupiter energy. That means meditate. That means take advantage of that good energy in your house of spirit. Do some rituals, do some meditations, do some emotional release work, right? Tantra, like get the energy moving, because this is going to be a year of spiritual, like you could do some retreats this year. You could really go into some serious intuitive work, serious spiritual work over this next year. Okay, so yeah, you have luck and opportunity in the house of spirit. It's a good time to be the hermit as Jupiter goes there. It's a good time to go on retreats, and go inside, because you're going to have a lot of expansion from within the unconscious. It's like the higher self is going to be speaking to you. Okay. So yeah, anyways, let's go back to that Sagittarius moon. So we have the full moon in Sagittarius coming up on April 23rd, and that will be in your 6th house. Okay. The 6th house has to do with your health, has to do with your day-to-day work, your day-to-day routines. Like, are you eating good? Are you taking care of yourself and your mental health and things like that? And so that full moon is going to highlight some things for you, because the full moon is a high energy, right? And it will bring things to the surface. So if you are neglecting your health in any way, mental or physical health, emotional health, that can come out during the full moon on the 23rd. All right. So it can also bring some opportunities for work. Okay. Because it's also the house of work. So you get a promotion or more work that you need, maybe some more clients or something, right? But just be careful in terms of health. All right. I always tell people, whenever anything happens in your 6th house, just be aware of your health and focus on it. And with Jupiter also going to be in your 12th house of spirit in the unconscious, yeah, you really should take the reins on your health over this next year. Okay. Focus on, healing. Maybe if you need some type of doctor or acupuncturist or chiropractor or therapist or psychic, I don't know. But self-improvement will be really important for you over the next year. Okay. Spiritual and mental and emotional, physical, all of it will be really important for you if you're a Cancer over the next year. So focus on your health, all right? Focus on your health. Do it. Meditate. Emotional release. Do something. Yeah. Okay. I hope that was helpful, Cancer. I'm going to move on to our next sign, Leo. Thanks for watching. Here we go. Let's move to the next sign. Okay, Leo, woo, Pluto in your 7th. Oh boy, Leo. I know you have a lot going on. Okay. So Leo, we are starting off, as we're in April, moving into May. We're starting off with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, right? Jupiter-Uranus conjunction has been going on in April. And that affects you for the next 14 years, wherever it's at. And it's in your house of career. It's in your house of reputation, social reputation, and career. So, Leo, take the reins. You're probably getting a lot of ideas, a lot of inspiration. And no matter what you're going through, you're probably just feeling like that push, in terms of like working on this area, you know? So yeah, this can bring a lot of expansion, and don't overwhelm yourself in this area though, because you can definitely overwhelm yourself when we have this Jupiter, Uranus energy and the sun and Venus and everything in your 10th house of career. So just be careful with that, be aware of that, and don't take on too many projects or change too many things in your career or social reputation, but take the reins on it, get the inspiration, meditate on it. You'll probably get some, if you haven't already, you'll probably get some opportunities in career to make the changes you need to make, or to develop it in the way that you want to develop it, to put yourself out there in the way that you want to put yourself out there. You could even be a little shocking to people with your social reputation. And you could use that to further yourself in that area. This is luck and opportunity for you in your 10th house, career and reputation. Excellent time. You have the two benefics, and I always call them the benefits planets. Venus and Jupiter, they benefit you where they are, right? And they're benefiting you in your house of career and social reputation. So take advantage of that and use that energy, because they're going to be moving into your 11th house coming up at the end of May. And Jupiter stays in a sign for a year. So it will be in your 11th house for the next year. And the 11th house has to do with your audience, your friends, your soul groups, and your long-term dreams and inspirations. Okay, so 10th and 11th, right? The houses are always very connected when they're next to each other. And so it's like, it's giving you this opportunity to, who do I want to be in my social reputation? Who do I want to, connect with in my career? And then all of a sudden it goes into your 11th house and it's like, this is my people. This is my group. And it's going to give you those opportunities to make changes if you need to in that area, to find a new group, to find people that resonate, and to really attract them, to attract the right people to you, because this is opportunity. Venus and Jupiter are all about opportunity, expansion, luck. They can really bring good things to you, and they can remove things if they need to go. Okay, so obviously you have some 10th and 11th house stuff going on, but let's talk about the fact that your 9th house is also very activated with all of these eclipses happening in your 9th house and in your 3rd house, which have to do with everything from, travel to intuition. It can also be publishing, putting yourself out there. Again, they're all related up here, 9, 10, 11. So, you have these eclipses and these energies of transformation happening in your 9th house, and healing, and Mercury is there and everything that's been really retrograding, right? And now it's finally going direct in May for you in your 9th house. And this has to do again with, like, if you want to put a book out there or a new video series, or you want to put yourself out there some way, this is a great time for you to start doing that. You have Mars there, ambition. So it's a great time for you to focus on, possibly traveling. If not now, then planning your travels. But definitely a healing energy in that area with Chiron there. And the moon, we have the moon in Taurus, of course, happening in your 10th house. The new moon in Taurus on May 8th. Will be planting a nice, beautiful new seed for you in your 10th house of career and social reputation. Okay. So watch May 8th, focus on your manifestation work on May 8th, on what you want in your career and your social reputation. Do some good meditation work during that dark moon. That's a great time to really go within, because the energies get more quiet. Yeah. And then we have the Sagittarius full moon happening on the 23rd, right? Yeah, the 23rd, we have full moon in Sagittarius, and that will be in your 5th house of creativity, of romance, of children, creative projects, gambling and sex, pleasure and fun and partying. So if you have the full moon happening in your 5th house, just expect some intensity in that area. If you're looking to date, excellent time to date is in May, especially the 17th on. It's going to be a great time with that full moon happening on the 23rd, that full moon coming into your 5th house of romance and sexuality and pleasure and fun. So have fun with it. Have some fun this month. This is a great energy. So yeah. Anyways, you have some really big stuff happening, Cancer. Or Leo, sorry. I looked at Cancer there. Anyways, let's move on to the next sign. Very cool, Leo. Looks like fun. Definitely good opportunity. All right, Virgo. Let's look at your chart, Virgo. Woo, Virgo. You got everything happening in your relationship stuff. Okay. So 7th house, 8th house, 9th house, all fully activated. So as we're going into this month of May, right, you have Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your 9th house. And so you have probably been feeling the pull, the inspiration for maybe publishing something, like maybe you're writing, maybe, I mean, it could even be, I'm in the music industry, it could be music, it could be anything that you want to put out there, right? Something you create. And so Jupiter Uranus is all about the inspiration and, the big opportunities and changes in this area. And so this is happening in the 9th house for you. And the 9th house is everything from publishing to travel, to opportunities. And, so this is a big month for you. This is a bit, and also developing your inner truth, developing your intuition. This is like a good energy for you to make some good changes in your life. This could be that you might go back to school. Maybe you go on some big retreat and you get certified in something, or you learn something new that just changes your life. So you have the Sun, Venus, Uranus, and Jupiter all in your 9th house right now. And so this May, it's very focused on relationships. We'll get there in a minute. But also it's very focused on your 9th house. And your 9th house, again, is like higher education and learning, developing intuition, developing connection to the high self for sure. And so you've already been feeling this for a little while, right? Because we just had this conjunction with Jupiter and Uranus happen in April in your 9th house. And so this will be affecting you for the next 14 years in terms of publishing and putting yourself out there, and also in terms of developing like a connection to your wisdom, to your high self, to your intuitive inner self. Okay. If you're working on your intuitive development, listening to your gut and your heart, this is a great time for you to do that right now. Jupiter at the end of May, Jupiter and Venus will be moving into Gemini, which is your 10th house of career. So if you are looking to make some changes or to develop your career or social reputation, this next year, like right now and for the next year, great time for opportunities for you to really figure out what you want to do, figure out where you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to brand yourself, who you want to be in terms of social reputation, who you want to be in terms of career. You're going to have some inspiration there over the next year. It's happening now. It's already, you're feeling it, I'm sure. So it's on your midheaven right now. You know, you have Jupiter like, okay, let's go. Let's do this, you know? And okay, so let's move on to the moons. So you have the new moon on May 8th happening in your ninth house of, you know, travel, and as I was saying, the developing the intuition and higher, you know, self connection. Travel is also going to be important, publishing and things like that. So if you want to manifest and start something new in that area, the May 8th new moon is when we plant the seeds, when we meditate on something, we develop like some ritual to attract these great new things into our life. Like start working on that paper you want to write, start working on that video you want to make, start working on that song you want to create, whatever it might be. That's going to be an excellent time for you to do that over this next month, and especially starting May 8th, excellent time to begin new things there. We have the Sagittarius full moon happening on April 23rd. And this will be in your fourth house of home. Fourth house of home, family, and real estate, inner child work. So full moons, they're intense, right? You just feel that energy. And so this will be happening. This full moon will bring things up in terms of like, hey, do I feel comfortable where I'm living? You know, it might bring things to a head with your family, your parents. If they're still alive, right, and you have connection to your parents, it can bring things to a head there. Might bring up trauma from family. It could bring up anything in terms of like your living environment, the full moon in your fourth house of living space, of family, home, inner work, emotional work. Yeah, I don't like full moon energies. Just be honest. I don't like them. Full moon energies are way too intense for my little Cancer ass. I'm always like, oh God, it's a full moon. Here we go. Everybody's getting crazy. You know, you get out on the road and everybody's trying to shoot each other and stuff. Anyways, all right. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Be careful, Virgo, in terms of your health. You know, you already know that if you watched my video, in terms of Pluto entering your sixth house, you know. Oh, I didn't mention the relationship houses for you, did I? I've been talking too long. I've already been doing this an hour. Okay, so your eighth house, you have the North Node, you have the eclipse that's happening in your eighth house, which has to do with your intimate connections with other people, shared resources, anything to do with your power with other people. So this can be inheritance, this can be anything to do with like shared money, shared resources, sexuality, intimacy. So the eclipses have been hitting you there in your eighth house, in your second house, which is your security access. Okay, so how secure you're feeling with things. Ooh, Chiron, the wounded healer, is there. You've had Mercury retrograding there recently, making you reflect on things. Chiron makes you like really focus on it too. Mars is there, which means it's like, all right. And now with everything direct, it's like full steam ahead. Time to work on this area of like sexual intimacy, connecting with other people, getting your power back, like realizing what you need to let go of, realizing what you have power and control with. And then your seventh house of relationships, you know, you have Saturn there right now this year. You have Neptune there. So you, and today, or May 2nd, really, it's the chart I'm looking at. The moon is there as well in your seventh house. So a lot of stuff happening for you in your relationships, and definitely in just like your connection to other people, your connection to yourself. Yeah, yeah. And developing some focus on your health. All right. I do want to say that because you have Pluto in the sixth, and that's going to be the next 20 years. But right now it's just entering, which means it's like bring things to a head right there for you. So be careful with your mental health. Be careful with your health in general. focus on that, meditate for sure, get a good spiritual practice going with this axis of 612 with Pluto. I know I already said this in the horoscope for 2024, but I gotta reiterate. Anyways, let's move on to the next sign. I hope that was helpful for my Virgos. Okay. Leo, or Libra, sorry. All right, Libra. Ooh, you have a lot going on in relationship houses. Oh my goodness, Libra. Whoa. Everything is there. Oh my goodness. Okay. So if you are a Libra, rising, sun, moon, you have Jupiter and Uranus that's been conjuncting in April, and it will be highly affecting everybody in May, and it will be planting a seed over the next 14 years in whatever house it is right now. Right now, it is in your 8th house of power, your 8th house of shared resources and intimacy, sexuality. But not sexuality in the let's just go have fun, hookup way. It's the intimate, soulmate sexuality. Okay, Libra. So you have some stuff going on in your 8th house. And that's been happening, as you know, with Jupiter and Uranus there. They have been really impacting that area for you. Sun and Venus are there as well right now in May. You have the new moon on May 8th happening in your 8th house. So that would be an excellent time for you to do some ritual and meditation work on May 8th as the dark moon happens in your 8th house of transformation, of power, of healing, psychological healing. This is the house of the tantric yogi. It's the house of the psychologist. It's the house of the phoenix. It is the house of like deep transformation, the occult practitioner, the magician, So this is the like deep house of healing. So you have I'm sure some psychic stuff coming up right now. Certain signs, as I've been saying in this horoscope today, certain signs are definitely having some big intuitions come up, and you are one of them. With the 8th house being impacted, this is the psychic house, I should say, right? 8, 9, and 12 are psychic houses. And so the 8th house, you could be having inspirations, dreams, visits from spirits, deja vu like crazy, like I've been having myself. Just really spiritual stuff happening to you. Very transformative, emotional stuff. This is a very deep emotional house. So you have a lot of inspiration there, a lot of realizations, a lot of opportunities happening right there. I mean, hopefully it's good stuff. But Uranus and Jupiter coming together in a house, I mean, that's just change. That's like, it can be good or bad. Uranus is not good or bad. And Jupiter, a lot of times, it's called a benefic planet. It benefits you in the long run usually, but it can also be like, hey, divorce. You know what I mean? So because sometimes a divorce will benefit you in the fact that you weren't supposed to be with that person, or they just weren't good for you anymore. Anyways, definitely some healing stuff going on for you though, Libra. Jupiter will be in the other, and I call it benefit. They're benefic planets, but I call them benefit planets because they benefit you, right? Venus and Jupiter are going into your 9th house at the end of May, okay? And your 9th house is publishing, putting yourself out there, traveling, exploring the world, developing intuition. Very spiritual time for you, Libra. So this is a great time for you to, over this next year, as Jupiter will be in your 9th house for the next year. Right. Excellent time for you to really start working on that project that you've been putting off. So if you've been wanting to write a book or put yourself out there maybe on videos or teaching, good time to do it. Good time to do it this year. Also, if you've been wanting to travel, make that plan, make it happen. Find the opportunity. Do something. This is a great month. And you have some luck in your 8th and 9th house coming. Okay. The other big thing, all right, you have the new moon. I might have already mentioned this. I can't remember because I've already been talking for over an hour about all these horoscopes, but you have the new moon happening in your 8th house, okay, on May 8th. And so this will be I think I did. It's a good time for you to start manifesting on May 8th for your 8th house. So other people's money, good sex, shared resources, more power. Good time to do it. Hecate. If you get that, you're a goddess. Okay. Anyways, the 7th house is also being impacted for you. So the 7th house, you have Mars right now, power, fire, in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships. You have the North Node eclipses have been happening for you in your relationships. So this is good. You're going towards good relationships. You might be having to let go of relationships that don't serve you well. You have had retrograde Mercury happening in your 7th house of relationships. A lot of reflection in April, right? Probably some heaviness happened in April in relationships. But right now it's lightening up for you in May. You're going to really come to some realizations. You have Chiron, the wounded healer there. So this is a time of healing in your area of relationships and partnerships. Really realizing like, who is a good partner for me? Should I partner with this person? Should I need to let go of this person? Should I marry this person? All of these things are going to be really important for you right now if you're a Libra. And then we have the Sagittarius full moon on April 23rd happening in your 3rd house. And so full moons, they bring things to a head, right? And so this can be related to your relationship with siblings, if you have any siblings. This can be about your neighbors, extended family, or skills and training, research. So when the full moon happens in your 3rd house on April 23rd, and really from April 17th on, all right, these energies are going to be really high for you, right? But April 23rd, they're going to be at a peak of energy. Okay, so hopefully things go smoothly for you. I'm not a fan of full moons myself, being ruled by a moon. Ruled by the moon, but I don't love them because they get very intense and people get on a very high energy, and people don't deal with high emotions very well usually. But this will be, again, your neighborhood, your siblings, also your car, vehicles, like traveling around your town and things like that, like local travel, anything to do with like boats and things, RVs. So yeah, your 3rd house, also communication, can be affected, impacted in this area for you. Skill development as well with that full moon can bring things to a head, opportunities here. Even moving, like neighborhood stuff, could come up during a full moon in your 3rd house. Okay, because this is very much about like your local environment. So, cool. Okay, hopefully that was helpful for you, Libra. Big impacts in your relationships for sure, partnerships. Okay, let's take a look at our next one, Miss Scorpios. All right, Scorpio. Wow, yeah, you have some intense stuff happening. Whew. Yeah, I remember doing this the year, right? And I was like, whoa, Scorpio, here we go. Okay, for May, you have Jupiter and Uranus in your house of relationships. You have Sun, Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus all in your house of relationships. So this year is very much a focus on relationships. And now these relationships, they can be like romantic or contracted business relationships. It can also just be relationships in general. Like, it could be people that you feel like, they're partners in life for you. Maybe they're like really, really close friends, like soulmates. It could be even family members, possibly, if that's like your partners and stuff. These are like roommates and partners and contracted, business partnerships, friends. You have a lot of karma here right now. And this is being, highlighted. And so if you need to let go of a relationship, or if that relationship is not serving you well, this could be a time when it's time to let go of it. It could also be a time of new relationships, new partnerships, new contracts, over this, it's been already going on, right, for a while, but this is also coming to a big head in May. And, you have the benefic planets there, and we call them benefic planets, meaning they're good, but I like to call them the benefit planets. Yeah, benefit planets, Venus and Jupiter and the Sun, all in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. So this is a good energy. It is, it can be very helpful for you, very inspiring, bring new opportunities and expansion for you in that area. And at the end of May, you have Jupiter and Venus, the two benefics, going into your eighth house of shared resources, of power, and of intimacy, shared sexual healing. Okay. So this is not the sexual, like, hookup fun. This is the sexual intimacy stuff. This has to do with you sharing your energy with another person when I talk about this. So you have those planets going into your eighth house, right? Of power and, healing and sexual stuff and everything, shared resources. And so over the next year, you might experience some opportunities, some development, some changes in that area of your life. It could be that maybe you benefit from someone in your life. Okay, because the eighth house has to do with other people's power, other people's resources, and Jupiter going into it. Maybe you get an inheritance, or you sell a house, or it's just something ends up happening where you end up getting some money from family, or something benefits you in terms of like people you're connected to. Okay, and you have the new moon, of course, happening on May 8th in your house of relationships and partnerships. So this will be a really good time for you to use May 8th, the dark moon, to go within and to connect with your higher self and figure out, hey, what do I need to do to move forward in relationships and partnerships? Like, do I want a relationship? Am I single? Or do I need to improve the current relationship I'm in? And so meditation in that area will be really great on May 8th for you, like working on some maybe rituals for relationships and partnerships, what you want to manifest, figuring that out, planting new seeds during that time will be a great time to do that, May 8th. Um, but after that, right, we have the eclipses. They have been happening, as you already know. I've talked about this before. The eclipses and everything are happening in your axis of health and the unconscious. And so you need to be careful there. The Mercury retrograde has been going on in your house of health recently. So it's been like a time for you to reflect on your health, reflect on your day-to-day responsibilities, your day-to-day living habits, and also your work that you do if you do work. So it's like your day-to-day living is like very much in April. It was a time of like reflection. And now in May, it's about moving forward in that area. So it's a time for you to start working on the new diet. It's time to start working on getting your health back in order, getting your environment around you organized, feeling better, and focusing on your health and your mental health. So meditation is an excellent thing for you to be doing right now. Really important for you. You have Chiron, the wounded healer there, Mercury retrograding, and now finally going forward. You have the eclipses happening there. You have Mars in your sixth house. So Be careful, Scorpio. Be careful, Scorpio. You have some serious stuff going on. 6-12 axis. You have Black Moon Lilith in your 12th house right now, which has to do with it can be institutions like hospitals and prisons, but it can also be retreat centers and isolation places and meditation and, developing like a connection with your spirit and your high self and developing better things. So use this as an opportunity to meditate and work on your self-growth and your day-to-day living, make it better, like work on your lifestyle choices and stuff like that, because this is a time for healing and self-growth for you. And if you're not doing that, then you could end up with crisis in this area, with these eclipses and Black Moon Lilith and Chiron and all this stuff happening, and Mars, it's a malefic planet, all in your 6th house of health and 12th house of, spirit. Definitely an intense time for you. But use it. You can use it for sure, and you can make your life better. This is a transformative year for you. You have the Sagittarius full moon happening on April 23rd in your 2nd house of money. So, full moons, they can bring things to a head. And so this might be like all of a sudden on April 23rd or any time around that time from the 17th on, you're going to notice a lot of big shifts happening, and that full moon will bring things to a head in your area of like your resources and your money and stuff like that. And so it'll be like, hello, time to pay attention to the house of money. So it could be a good thing, or it could be like a realization thing. But I don't love full moons, honestly. Like I keep saying that I don't love full moons because they are high energy and people just act crazy and they don't deal with the emotion very well. And it's just not a lovely time usually. But just make sure that you're meditating. Okay. All right, Scorpio. All right. Let's move on. You have some good opportunities for relationships. You have some good opportunities for transformation. Okay. It's all about that personal growth for you, Scorpio. You got this. You're Scorpio. You're all about the power and transformation, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next sign. Let's take a look at Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. I'm going to grab my water. All right, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, you have Jupiter and Uranus in your 6th house of health. Okay. You have this energy. This is Jupiter and Uranus have been conjuncting in your 6th house of health in April. And so this is planting a new seed for you to develop some new healthy habits, new lifestyle changes, maybe a new work opportunity, right? So you have already been planting the seed over this last month, and now this is going to affect you for the next 14 years here. Okay, this is planting the seed of inspiration in your 6th house. And you also have the Sun and Venus there, and Jupiter and Venus, they're what we call the benefic planets. And so they bring benefits to you. And they're in your 6th house of jobs and promotions and diet and lifestyle and, health and all of that good stuff. And so use this as an opportunity to work on your self-healing this year, to really start focusing on your mental health, your physical health, all of that, your stress, right? So important right now for you. And you have the new moon happening on May 8th in your 6th house of health and jobs and just day-to-day living. Okay. So this can really, this 6th house, when it's being impacted like this, it can really bring up some realizations. It can make you feel more inspired, especially with Uranus and Jupiter and the Sun and Venus there. I mean, these are very inspirational planets. They're all there kind of inspiring you to make good choices and good changes in the areas of health, right? Also, we can tend to put on weight when we have Jupiter in the 6th house, just to kind of put that out there for you. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. So it can bring some stress, okay? So just be careful with that too. But in the end of May, you have the benefic planets, the benefit planets, I like to call them. They're going into your house of relationships. So Jupiter and Venus will be going into your house of partnership and relationship over the next year. Jupiter will be affecting you there, which it brings luck and opportunity in the house of partnership and relationship over the next year. Okay. So that's a good thing for you. That starts happening at the end of May. You might notice some shifts happening, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, maybe I can do something here. So whether you're in a partnership or relationship now, and maybe it needs to end, or maybe it's really good, it needs to go to the next level, or maybe it's okay, it needs to go to the next level, or maybe you're single and you want a partnership, or maybe you're looking for a business partnership. This will be the time for you to start focusing on that, Sagittarius. Okay. This is an excellent, month and whole year for you to really start focusing on that. And then we have, you've had these eclipses, and all of this energy, this healing energy, reflection energy has been happening in your house of creativity, your house of creative inspiration, your house of pleasure and fun, your house of romance and sex, your house of children and creation. So you've had these eclipses happening here for a while, and they're going to be happening another year. So a lot of transformation in that area. Hopefully a lot of inspiration. You've had Mercury retrograding in that area for you. You've had Chiron there. Chiron is the healer. And then you have Mars. Mars is like, it can kind of cut things, right? And so that is in your fifth house of creativity, sexuality, and relationships, but like in a romantic, fun way. Love affairs and stuff like that. It can also be, again, your creativity. So I just want to put that out there because it can even be like if you have a business, that would be like your baby, right? So any children you have, including projects, those can be your babies too, your children. Okay. So fifth house is a lot of different things. It's like a fun party house, but also creative inspiration and kids and stuff like that. Like what you create is in the fifth house. So you have a lot of transformative energy if you're Sagittarius. Been going on already, and now it's going to be going on for quite some more time for you, right? But Mars there right now is all about cutting things as well. Kind of cutting things out that you don't need anymore. Okay, so yeah, you have the new moon on May 8th happening in your sixth house of health. Again, good time to meditate on your house of health, good time to really focus on, hey, what do I need to do in order to heal myself, have a better day-to-day living, better environment, maybe clean up, spring cleaning, good time to do that with the new moon in Taurus. But also, we have a Sagittarius full moon happening on April 23rd, and this will affect your whole life. Okay. So Sagittarius full moon happening right there on your ascendant if you're a Sagittarius rising. This is like this full moon, it can really bring a lot of realizations to you. It can bring up like a high energy for you. So be aware of that and be careful with that, Sagittarius, with that high energy. Use it in a good way for yourself, right? Remember that on April 23rd, it's going to affect you. So you can use that to catapult your life. As Sagittarius is, really a very intuitive energy. And this would be a really good time to just take that energy and take it to the next level for yourself to really manifest some things. Okay, so meditate on April 23rd. I don't love full moons. They're just such high energy, and people get super emotional, and they can start like fighting, and people get crazy and stuff sometimes. So I don't love them, but you can use the energy. So if you go within and you use the energy like to, clean up your environment and meditate and do rituals and stuff like that, it can be an excellent energy to manifest change in your world. So, yeah. Yeah, you have some good opportunities, Sagittarius. Good opportunities coming up for relationships, partnerships. Good opportunities for healing and health. I mean, this you could change your appearance if you wanted to, rebrand yourself with this energy. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's move on to the next sign. All right, we have Capricorn. All right, Capricorn. So Capricorn. Woo. Get water. Okay, Capricorn. So you have a lot going on at the bottom of your chart here. So we have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your fifth house of creativity, romance, creation, like children. This could be your children. This can be, you know, the fun kind of romance. So dating and sex. It can be pleasure. It can be gambling. It can be creative projects like, if you have like a business or something like that. So you have this like opportunity stuff happening in this area for you. So if you are a Capricorn or especially Capricorn rising, you have this stuff going on in your fifth house, creativity, creation. All right. So that's been happening. April is when it conjuncted. And now as we're moving into the end of May, right, you'll notice that that stuff starts coming more to a head, right? So your fifth house will become more and more highlighted as the new moon happens there on May 8th. So even like more activation there. You have Venus and the sun and Uranus and Jupiter and a new moon all right there in your fifth house of creativity. I mean, you could end up like pregnant. You could end up with like a new project or a new creative opportunity, new creative inspirations coming to you, new talents and skills developed in the fifth house. I mean, gosh, there's so many things. New romance. Let's say if you're dating, it's a great month for you to date, Capricorn. Excellent time for you to date, to meet some new like love interest during this time. If you're single, it's a good time to really connect with people and to be inspired. And at the end of May, we have these benefic planets, Jupiter and Venus, right? Benefic planets are good planets. I call them the benefit planets. They bring you benefits, right? They're going to be going into your sixth house. And the sixth house has to do with your work. So they're going to benefit you, right? They've been benefiting you in this creative house, and now they're going to benefit you in the house of work and day-to-day living. And so Jupiter will be in your sixth house over the next year. So this will be a time for you to maybe clean up your diet, start working more on fitness and health, also mental health, like, meditate more, work on some healing stuff, find a new doctor if you need one. So you have these really good planets in your fifth house and now in your sixth house. And so you have a lot going on transformative wise in terms of like your day-to-day living environment. Um, Now you've also had this like you've had the eclipses happening in your fourth house, right? So this has to do with your parents. This has to do with your home life. So you've probably already like have had like something happen with either your parents or moving, maybe real estate, something like that. That's already probably been going on for the last year or two. But now over the next year, it's still happening. So this month is definitely a time when you're going to finally start feeling like you're moving forward a little bit in that area, or something might happen in that area again, because Mercury has been retrograding there this month in April, right? And now we're moving into May, and it's finally Mercury's going direct. It's moving forward. Everything's moving forward. And you have Mars there and your fourth house of home and family and your environment. So yeah, I feel like, this is a time for you to start moving forward, whether you want to buy real estate or whether you want to move or you want to do some stuff to your home, some home improvements, or you want a new roommate, or there's some changes happening in your home life or with your parents. any of that is now, like with Chiron there, you have the wounded healer there, you have Mercury there, you have North Node there, you have Mars there, right? So May is a good time for you to start moving forward in that area as well. We also have a Sagittarius full moon coming up, and that will be on April 23rd, and that will happen in your house of spirit. So this will be an excellent time for you to use those really like strong full moon energies on April 23rd to do some meditation work, to go within and to connect with the high self and to go into isolation. I mean, excellent time for you to do that. To really, I mean, you've already been feeling this like intuitive energy, right? You've already been feeling this. And, with all of the stuff happening in your fifth house and, going now into your sixth house and affecting your 12th house, I mean, you just have so much going on in terms of like, moving forward in terms of like your creative potential and your intuition and really just getting in there and transforming from the inside. This is a great time for you on April 23rd or, April 17th on is a great time for you to be dating, to be working on your mental health and meditating and like attracting things to you but you got to put yourself out there, right? Fifth house is all about putting yourself out there. But it's a great time for you to become that magnet because you have Jupiter is a magnet. It's like this like expansive energy for you in terms of your creative potential, in terms of your romantic potential too. And so, yeah, you have a lot of opportunity, Capricorn, a lot of luck coming your way. Finally, some good movement, good energy moving forward. Yeah. Fifth house, sixth house, fourth house, and 12th house stuff. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's move into our next sign. All right, Aquarius. Ooh, you have Pluto as your big thing happening right now in the next 20 years, right? So let's talk about May. It's just so funny when I see that Pluto right there on your sign. So I'm an evolutionary astrologer, so I'm all about Pluto. But let's talk about what you have going on in May. You have a lot going on in your second, third, fourth house, and then your 11th house. Okay. So Jupiter and Uranus in April have been conjunct, right, in your fourth house of home. Jupiter and Uranus, they conjunct together every 14 years. And so right now, right, they're conjunct. They've been conjunct in April. And, they move very slowly. So Jupiter and Uranus, when they come together, they are all about inspiration and realizations and shocks and opportunities and new things and changes, right? And so that's been happening in your house of home. Real estate, home life, family, especially parents, are all being affected here for you. So you might have new opportunities for real estate, maybe a new house, maybe working on your house, maybe, something to do with your parents, right? But Jupiter and Uranus, oh, it could even be your parents have an opportunity, like your mom or your dad or something. If they're alive, they have an opportunity. But Jupiter and Uranus, they're in your fourth house and they've been there for a little while. But you also have Venus and the Sun in your fourth house there too. So you have a lot of good energy in your fourth house. Now, when I say good energy, it can be subjective as well. Okay. Uranus can bring crisis. Okay. But you have these benefic planets, right? We call them the benefic planets, which means good planets. I call them the benefit planets. Jupiter and Venus, the benefit planets, are moving into your fifth house of creative inspiration, children, and romance and sex, moving in at the end of May. Okay? So they'll be moving into the more fun house, your fun house, at the end of May. And Jupiter will stay in your fun house for a year. Your fun house has to do with dating, romance, sex, pleasure, joy, fun, children, creative projects. So this could even be if you have like your own business, that'd be your baby, right? Any projects you're working on, stuff like that. Fifth house, creativity. So the next year you have some good energy there. You have some luck and opportunity there. So right now we have that movement happening. So Jupiter and Venus, the two benefit planets, will be going there for you. That's a nice energy, right? Other than that, you have the new moon on May 8th happening in your fourth house of parents, home, inner child, inner healing stuff. Okay. New moon. So it's a good time to start like meditating and working on new opportunities in that area, starting new things in those areas of home and real estate and stuff like that on May 8th. Really good time. Okay. Start manifesting on that, doing some work on that. We have your third house is highly activated, right? Your third house has been highly activated, as you know, with the eclipses happening in your third house, third and ninth house. That's been going on for a while and it'll be going on for another year. But they're highly activated right now. You have Mars in your third house, North Node, of course. Mercury has been retrograding in your third house, and now it's finally moving forward in your third house. Chiron, the wounded healer. So all of that's happening in your third house, and your third house has to do with your local neighborhood, your siblings, local travel like your cars and vehicles, RVs and boats and all of that stuff, and bicycles. But also it has to do with communication, research and writing, skill development as well. Fifth house and third house are both like very much skill development. So your third house is very active right now. Okay. So this is a good time for you to start like healing and working in that area to move forward in your third house stuff. So if you need to work on getting like a new car, working on your car, your bicycle, or your neighborhood, your siblings, relationships, like all of that is like, woo, but Mars is a malefic planet and it's there. And the eclipses can be malefic as well, which means that they can be like subjectively bad. It can be cutting away things, severing things that don't need to be there anymore, this is very much an area of healing for you right now with Chiron there, the wounded healer. Definitely a place where you've been reflecting for a while. So whether it's a skill you've been reflecting on, in school and stuff like that, or if it's a sibling relationship, or if it's a neighborhood. I mean, you could be reflecting on, do I need to move out of this neighborhood? Maybe I don't like this neighborhood anymore, right? So all of that stuff can come up and with all of the stuff in your third house. Okay, so that's definitely a big thing for you too, that area. But let's talk about the final thing here is the Sagittarius full moon happening in your 11th house of, this is like your house of the tribe, your soul groups, your communities, and your long-term dreams. So the full moon on April 23rd is really going to highlight like, am I going in the right direction in life? My long-term dreams, do they make sense for me or do they need to change? Also, it can highlight friendship stuff, community stuff. Is this the right, kind of people around me? So the full moon, though, will just kind of bring things to a head in those areas and it'll affect you for a while there. So this could be a time of tensions there as well, because full moons are tense, right? Full moons bring up emotions and bring things to a head. So if there is something there, and it can also be your audience. So if you're like me and you put yourself out there on like YouTube or podcasts and stuff, then this would also be the people that are in your vibration, the people that watch you or attracted to your energy in some way. Okay, so that full moon could bring something to a head, a realization, an illumination, or it could be even that all of a sudden something changes there. Okay, So yeah, all right, Aquarius. Aquarius, you have a lot going on. A lot going on. That fourth house, third house. Woo. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the next sign. Thanks for watching, Aquarius. All right. We are at Pisces. Hello, Pisces. So Pisces, you have so much going on in that second and third house here. So, we've had this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in April. This is like the big highlight in astrology right now. Jupiter and Uranus, when they come together, they can bring shocks and inspiration and realizations and changes, and they'll affect you for the next 14 years wherever they conjuncted. And so they conjuncted in your third house. And so this is happening right now for you, and it will be affecting you for the next 14 years in this way. All right, so the third house has to do with your neighborhood, your siblings, your extended family, um, your community, your vehicles, like your cars, your RVs and boats and bicycles and things you get around locally. So yeah, this could be a time where, you are having some luck in these areas where maybe you get a new car or you realize you need to get a new car. Maybe somebody gives you a car. Something like that might happen, but also it can be a lot of transformation, a lot of things happening with your siblings, a lot of things happening in terms of your neighborhood moving, also skill development. Third house is very much about your skill development. So if you're training or you need to train in something, you might start doing that when you have so much going on in your third house. Your third house, you have Venus, you have the sun, you have Uranus and Jupiter all in your third house right now, right? And so these are Venus and Jupiter especially are what we call benefic planets. And benefic is good, right? And I like to call them the benefit planets. And they're happening in your third house. And your third house is siblings and extended family and neighborhood and vehicles and skills and training, and communication and writing and things like that too. So if you've been looking to write, you might have been feeling very inspired recently to write. Um, or do research as well, develop in that area. But the Jupiter and Venus will be moving into your fourth house of home. Over the next year, you'll have Jupiter in the planet of luck and expansion and opportunities in your area of home life. Also parents. Okay, so inner child work, home life, and parents, family will all be affected for you. So you might have some good luck there. Okay. So yeah, other than that, you have the new moon on May 8th happening in your third house. So maybe all of a sudden, if you start doing some good meditation work, like during the dark moon, May 7th, May 8th, you might all of a sudden realize that, oh my God, I need to be training in this area, or, oh my God, I need to contact my sibling, or, oh my God, I need to move. So a new thing, a new realization might happen on May 8th for you. Okay. Especially if you are tapped in. Okay. On and then you also have your second house very activated right now. Right? Your second house has the eclipse energies in it right now. That's been going on for the past year. Second and eighth house, your security axis. So that has to do with transformation and change in your area of resources and finances. So you have Mars there, full steam ahead. Be careful not to overspend when you have Mars in your second house, okay? Be careful with your money. Eclipses are there. Be careful with your money. Be careful with your money, okay? You have the wounded healer there. It's time for you to heal in terms of debts and resources and finances. Also, your values of yourself, your inner love, so important right now. Mercury has been retrograding there for you in April, and now it's finally going direct for you. So it's time for you to start moving forward in terms of debt and finances and resources and security. Okay, so start working in that area. Okay. Let's see. We have the Sagittarius full moon happening on April 23rd. That's going to be happening in your 10th house of social reputation and career. So some things might come to a head for you around April 23rd. April 23rd, that full moon, it's happening where it's going to bring realizations to you about your career, your social reputation, where you need to go in life. Yeah, so that can bring some really good opportunities for you. I don't love full moon energies because they are very intense and people can get a little crazy, right? So I tend to try to stay in if I can during those times, but definitely use the full moon energy. I would say on April 23rd and around April 23rd, you'll notice that some opportunities might be coming your way finally, good energies. So it'd be a good time to meditate and start working on like attracting what you want and need in that area and figuring out like, am I in the right place? So yeah, the end of May is going to be very intense, good energies. Okay. So finally things are moving forward. Woohoo! All right, Pisces. Awesome energies, Pisces. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody. Brandy Joy. You can follow me on Brandy Joy TV on YouTube and on Spotify and Instagram and TikTok, or you can go to my website, brandyjoy.com, and you can get an astrology reading from me, or you can join my membership, and I have courses and all kinds of stuff. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you hopefully next week.